Hi everyone. I hope you can see and hear me very well. I cannot see the chat, but okay. I hope you are well today and ready to continue. Today we have topic 12 already, and today we're going to talk about gerund and infinitive, and we will also practice with you some listening tasks. So let's start. I hope you are here. So let's go. Let's look at the first slide and let's look at these two sentences, A and B. So let me read them aloud. The first one, she never considered becoming an English teacher. And B, but when she was 20, she signed up for the courses to improve her English. So let's look at these two sentences and let's look at exactly these two, let's say, structures. So as you may see, in sentence number 1 and in sentence number 2, there are two verbs in each sentence, considered becoming and signed up to improve. So please text me in chat. How do we call these grammar structures? What are these? What are these underlined verbs, let's say? So what is becoming and what is to improve? How we call it? How do we call these words? Okay, so becoming and to improve. So how do we call them? Look at the topic of our today's webinar. Yes, A, that is gerund, and B, that is infinitive. Так, значить, давайте підсумуємо. У нас є два речення. Да? В першому реченні, в другому реченні є два дієслова. Тобто бачимо, що якщо в нас речення йде два дієслова, тобто одне йде за інший, то друге дієслово має прийняти форму або ing, або інфінітив. Так, і в першому, і в другому в нас є такі приклади. Considered, becoming. So in the first sentence, the second verb has taken the form ing, and in the second sentence, signed up to improve, the second verb has taken the form of infinitive. So, but let's find out in what cases exactly we should use infinitive and in what cases we need to use gerund. Давайте ж зрозуміємо, в яких випадках нам потрібно поставити інфінітив, а в яких ґрунті. So, let's look at this slide. Don't be afraid, don't be scared, and let's try to match them. The sentences with the infinitives and the rules. Like with the situations in which we need to use these infinitives. So let's look at sentence number 1. I will help you. Yes, she went to the bank to get some money. So where is the infinitive here? I have underlined it, to get. To get is an infinitive. So we have the sentence, she went to the bank to get some money. So let's think, why do we need to use infinitive here, but not gerund, not ing form? Let's try to formulate the rule. Давайте спробуємо сформулювати правило. Yes, I see the correct answer. That is D, to express purpose. So we may say that we need to use infinitive in order to express purpose. Для того, щоб виразити мету, да? In order to express purpose. Let's go next to number 2. I can't decide where to go. So to go is an infinitive. So let's look at this sentence again and think why we need to use infinitive here but not gerund. I can't decide where to go. Okay, look at the word that precedes the infinitive. And that is where, the question word, and that is a. So we use infinitives after verbs followed by a question word. Okay, let's go next. Number 3, he is glad to be back. Again, the infinitive here is to be back. It is underlined. So let's look at this sentence and let's try to think of the rule. So he is glad to be back. So we see that the word that precedes the infinitive is an adjective. Yes? So we may say that we need to use infinitives after certain adjectives or nouns. Let's go next to number 4. These rules are too hard to remember. So the infinitive here is to remember. So why do we need to use infinitive here but not gerund? What is special about this sentence? What can you find in this sentence? Are too hard to remember. Yes, we can find too. So if we have constructions with too or enough, we need to use infinitive. Great, let's go next. I would like to learn a foreign language. Again, the infinitive is underlined. To learn. So what can you see in this sentence? So that helps you to understand that you need to use infinitive here. You have would like. So after would like, we need to use the infinitive. That's G. And I see the correct answers. Very good. Let's go next. Number 6. It was nice of him to help. Okay, so let's look at this sentence. Think what is special about this sentence that helps you to understand that you need to use the infinitive here. Look at the structure. So as we may see, the structure is as follows. It plus be plus adjective plus pronoun. It plus verb, like to be, plus adjective, nice, plus of, plus pronoun. It was nice of him to help. So we may say that if we have such structures, they need to be followed by an infinitive. Great. Let's look to number 7. He advised me to apply for the job. He advised me to apply for the job. So what rule can we follow, like to decide that we need to use the infinitive here? He advised me to apply for the job. Look at the words that precede the infinitive. He advised me to apply for the job. And that is I. Давайте розберемось, чому I. Me. Що таке me? Він порадив мені подати заяву на роботу. Me is an object. Тобто це додаток. Він порадив мені подати там заяву на роботу. He advised me. So me is an object. And before object we have a verb. So we may say that we need to use infinitives after the object of certain words. Тобто після додатку, які вживаються з певними дієсловами. I will show you that. Okay, let's go next to number 8. They volunteered to help us. Anything special about? Is there any rule that you can follow to decide that you need to use the infinitive here? They volunteered to help us. They volunteered to help us. Actually, no, nothing special. We just have the verb volunteer. Yes? So, and we may assume that after certain verbs we need to use the infinitive. Тобто можна зробити висновок, що після якихось конкретних дієслів потрібно вживати інфінітив, а не герундій. Yes? Okay, number 9. Jane was the last to hear about the accident. Jane was the last to hear about the accident. What is special about this sentence? What can you find in this sentence? And that is E, that's right. We have the last. Вона була останньою, яка почула, yes? So in English we say to hear, яка почула, yes? The last, the first, or the best. Yes? It's very similar to the rule with the adjective. Дуже схоже на правило, яке ми з вами говорили про прикметники. Yes? After certain adjectives, we need to use infinitive. The same is here. After the last, the first, the best, or the next, we need to use infinitive. Great. And the last one, to lend money, is a risky business. Sometimes the infinitive, that is the verb with to lend, might be a what? At the beginning of the sentence as a subject. Інколи воно навіть може бути підметом. Okay, so let's sum up. I would suggest you to take a screenshot because we will use these rules later in some exercises. So, let's sum up. We use infinitives to express purpose. Like for what? Like I need to buy to buy a book, I don't know, to read about some species like of animals. I need to do something like for what? Then we use full infinitive after would like, would love, would prefer. That's clear. I would love to do something. I would like to do something. We have infinitive that follows all these structures. Number 3, after certain verbs. For example, to agree, to appear, to decide, to prepare, to seem, to volunteer. Тобто їх потрібно просто вивчити. I will show you where to find them. So after them, we use the infinitives. No rule here. Yes? Nothing special. Just need to remember. After the first, the second, the next, the last, the best. Тобто хтось був першим щось зробити, хтось був останній, хтось наступний. Maybe at your lessons, at your English lessons, you often hear the sentence like, okay, who will be the next to answer? Yes, хто буде наступний відповідати? Who will be the next to answer? Or I will be the last to answer. Я буду останньою відповідати. So, after these words, second, next, last, and best, we need to use the infinitive. Let's go next to number 5. After the object of certain verbs. Да, тобто, коли в нас ще між дієсловом і інфінітивом стоїть object, тобто додаток. He advised me to do something. They allowed me to do something. He forced me to do something, or he forced him to do something, yes? So after these certain verbs, you also need to use the infinitive. After certain nouns. Запам'ятайте, що може бути після іменника, так само, як і після прикметника, йти інфінітив. For example, it's such a pleasure. І далі що в нас йде? To say you that. Like, it was such a shock to hear that. Тобто, you see, you have some nouns, іменники, that are followed by the infinitives. Okay, let's go next. After verbs followed by a question word. Це дуже просте правило. Якщо у вас є питальне слово who, what, which, where, how, ось ці 5. Who, what, which, where, how, you need to use the infinitive after them. I don't know how to do that. Let me show you where to go. So as you may see, after these question words, you usually use the infinitives. But be careful with why. After why, we don't use the infinitives. Just remember these 5. Who, what, which, where, and how. Okay. After the following structure, it plus be plus adjective plus of and object. It was nice of you to tell me about that. Тобто це було гарно з твоєї сторони розказати мені про це. So in such structures, that's only one structure. Це одна така граматична структура, яку вам потрібно запам'ятати. Якщо ви її бачите, то там тільки infinitive, not gerund. Okay, then with to and enough. That's very easy. If you have any structures with to and enough, they are usually followed by the infinitives. After certain adjectives, yes? Після why by infinitive. After why we usually use like a pronoun. Why don't you? Like it's usually negative and it's not by infinitive. Okay, after certain adjectives. Afraid, careful, glad. For example, I'm happy to see you. I usually start my webinars with, I'm so glad to see you here. If you have an adjective, then you need to have these infinitives. And at the beginning of the sentence, sometimes infinitives might be a subject. For example, to fly was his dream. Тобто літати – це було його мрією. Or it might be also used as a fixed expression. For example, to be honest, to tell the truth, to begin with. So you usually use these expressions in writing. Yes? Okay, so take a screenshot and let's go next. Let's look at these sentences and let's think whether they are correct or not. So let's look at the first pair. She helped me to fix the tap, or she helped me fix the tap. What do you think? Are these sentences correct or not? So she helped me to fix the tap, or she helped me fix the tap. So the difference is in these two. Да? Тобто тут різниця тільки в цій частичці to. She helped me to fix the tap, or she helped me fix the tap. Okay, I see A, only A. But actually, guys, all variants, like both variants are possible. Yes? You may use help either with to or without to. So just for you to know that if you use the verb to help, воно таке от особливе. So you can use either infinitive without to or an infinitive with to. Help me to do something or help me do something. Okay, let's go to the next two sentences. What do you think? Are these sentences correct or not? He decided to go to university and study biology, or he decided to go to university and to study biology. What do you think about these two sentences? For example, when you write, yes, when you write your letter and you need to use two like infinitives divided by and. So what do you think? Which variant is correct? BA. Actually, the first one, let's say, is more correct than the second one. Because usually, if you have like two infinitives joined by and, the two of the second infinitive might be skipped, might be omitted. Да? Тобто, якщо у вас є два інфінітива, тобто як, наприклад, я хочу піти, я хочу вивчати. Yes, I want to go and I want to study. So, the second, ось ця друга частка ту, вона може бути просто впущеною. It's not a mistake to omit it. It's better to say without it. Да? Тобто, the variant A is more correct. It will not count as a mistake. Вам це не зарахують як помилку, because like it's more about the style, it's more about repetitions, but anyway, you may skip it, you may omit it. Okay, and number 3, he decided to not accept the job, or he decided not to accept the job. So what about the position of not? What do you think? Which variant is correct? He decided not to accept the job, and he decided to not accept the job. Where should we? Yes, and all variants are correct. Great, guys. Всі варіанти прям правильні. Very, very good. So in order to form the negative of the infinitive, we just need to put not, but before the infinitive, not to accept the job. Great. Let's look at this very interesting slide. Bare infinitive. That is the infinitive without something. So let's look at the first two sentences, and you will tell me, not tell me, but you will write me what a bare infinitive is. They made him pay for the damage. So let's open the brackets. Yes, and they made him, yes, I see the correct, pay for the damage. And B, some people seem to let their kids whatever they like. I see very intelligent students there. That's right. Let do whatever they like. So if you have verbs like let and make, and they are followed by another verb, да, пам'ятаємо, що в нас є два дієслова, одне йде за іншим. If you have it, then you don't need to use to. Yes, with the infinitive. We call it the full infinitive, ніби повний infinitive. But you need to use the bare infinitive. We call it голий infinitive. Without to. Без цієї частки to. Make somebody do something and let somebody do something. Just remember it. Okay, let's go next. Number C. I would rather home now, and I'd better and ready. So, I would rather go home now, and I would better go and what about get in D? What do you think? I'd better go and give me please more answers to the chat. I'd better go and get. That's right, very good. After had better and would rather, we use bare infinitive. That is infinitive without to. Тобто, запам'ятаємо, had better і would rather. Я би краще пішов додому, я б краще там пішов і приготувався. Without to. I'd better and I'd rather. Okay, we usually use these expressions in letters. Да? В вашому письмі, листі другу, чи там, яке вам попадеться, you may use these phrases, so be careful. Да? Тому будьте уважні. And the last one. You must, I can't, why you are so upset. Okay? And I see already the correct answer, and already I see the rule. You must study hard, and I cannot understand why you are so upset. Just remember, yeah, that after modal verbs, we use bare infinitive. I should, I can, I may, and then we have bare infinitives. Great job. So I think everything is clear with the infinitives. Let's go to gerund. So in what cases should we use gerund but not infinitives? Yes, that is ing form. So let's look at this first example. Swimming keeps you fit. And that is very similar to infinitive. So let's look about this swimming. Чим він виступає в цьому реченні? What is it? Swimming keeps you fit. And that is yes, that is a noun. Тобто він взяв на себе функцію іменника і виступає як підмет в цьому реченні. So that is not the action. Да? Тобто це не дія. That is like an activity. You describe an activity. You say that swimming keeps you fit. That is D. Yes, so gerund might be used as a noun. It might be a subject or an object. Тобто це може бути як і підмет, так і додаток в реченні. As a regular noun, як звичайний іменник. Okay, let's go next. He left without saying goodbye. So let's look at this sentence and let's think why we need to use gerund here. He left without saying goodbye. What is special? What can you find in this sentence? Yes, usually look at the words that precede the gerund and we see that we have without. Without is a preposition, прийменник. So if you have a preposition that is followed by a verb, then the verb should take the ing form. That is rule number 1 for gerund, for using gerund. That's right, any preposition. Тобто там може бути будь-який прийменник. Of, from, without, with, at, whatever. Okay, let's look at number 3. They often go climbing at the weekends. We already talked with at some webinars, we talked with you about this one. If you have go, yes, that indicates physical activities, then you need to use gerund. Go climbing, go running, go jumping, go jogging, whatever. Okay, number 4. It's no use waiting for the bus. It won't come. So is there actually any rule here? Any, let's see, grammar rule? No. You just need to remember that you need to use gerund after verbs, after certain expressions. That is F. I will show you these expressions in a moment. Я вам покажу після саме яких виразів потрібних грундій in a moment. Okay? Let's go to number 5. Jessica spent all day shopping. Okay, and that is actually a very often mistake. After to be busy and spend waste. When we talk about expressions when we talk about money or time, we need to use gerund. That is very often mistake. Тобто, якщо ви говорите про витрачати, марнувати час або гроші, після того має йти герундій. Да? So, for example, Jessica spent all day shopping or Jessica spent all day reading. So it cannot be an infinitive, it should be a gerund, yes? Okay, number 6. They are looking forward to traveling abroad. And that is rule number 1 for your writing, yes, for writing letters. So after verbs or expressions with to, да, бачите, в нас є to. Це не to для того, щоб інфінітив поставити, but there are set expressions, це такі сталі вирази. After them, you need to use gerund. So in your letter, when you write, I'm looking forward to, then you need to use gerund, to hearing from you, yes, or to receiving a letter from you. Okay, number 7, the car needs repairing. We have only 2 rules left, and that is clear. Тепер же можна співставити, да? Це потрібно просто запам'ятати. But after the verbs need, want, and require, we need to use gerund, if they express some passive meaning. Да? Тобто машину потрібно відремонтувати. Машина потребує ремонту. So, the car needs repairing. Yes? So, we need to use gerund here. And the last one, he avoided answering my questions. We have no rule here. we just may say that after certain verbs we need to use gerund. He avoided answering. Тобто тут нам зрозуміло, що є якийсь набір певних дієслів, після яких вживається герундій, а не інфінітив. We cannot say he avoided to answer. It will be a mistake. We need to say he avoided answering. So take a screenshot again. Yes, so we will use it later. So one more time, gerund can be used as a noun, either a subject or an object, after any preposition. If you have like preposition followed by a verb, then you need to use gerund. That is rule number 1. After certain verbs, for example, admit, consider. Пам'ятаєте, на першому слайді у нас була consider doing something. Not consider to do something, but consider doing something. Imagine, mention, suggest. After verbs or expressions with to. Да, це те, що ми з вами говорили. Look forward to і далі герундій. Other expressions are be or get used to, да, тобто бути звикшим до чогось, або звикати до чогось, ось це чогось, це герундій. Then, in addition to. Then, number 5, after certain expressions. Yes, you may remember them, you may memorize them. Some, like very common are can't stand doing something. Тобто терпіти не може. Да? I can't stand doing something. Or I feel like dancing. Or I have difficulty reading in English. So there are just a set of these expressions, and these are the most common. Can't stand, feel like, have difficulty. And it's worth, до речі, it's worth. Тобто щось варто того. For example, the book is worth reading. Да? Тобто цю книжку варто прочитати. Ось це прочитати, це буде герундій. This book is worth reading. After the verbs like need, want, require with a passive meaning. And after the verb to go, that indicates physical activities, go shopping, go running, go jogging, whatever. And after verbs like to be busy and to spend waste when we talk about money or time. So, some suggestions, some recommendations to you, yes? When you hesitate, what to use, gerund or infinitive? Та, от, наприклад, слово consider, я впевнена, що ви його знаєте, yes? But if you have any doubts and you want to check whether to use gerund or infinitive, you can go to any dictionary, any dictionary, and find the information there. It usually goes like number 1, and sometimes even with like explanations. So try to use any like dictionaries that you like to check whether to use gerund or infinitive, because we need to remember that after some special verbs we need to use either this one or that one, and there is no rule. You just need to remember and to know that. Okay, you can also scan the QR code and find some common verbs there. If you're ready, then let's go next to practicing. So let's look at these 12 sentences. Let's choose the correct option and let's try to explain why. Yes, why, for example, gerund, but not infinitive, or why infinitive, but not gerund. Можете самі собі пояснювати, чому саме тут потрібен інфінітив, не герундій, in order to memorize, yes, in order to figure out some rules for yourself. So let's look at number 1. Patrick is too incompetent to give or giving you any information. What do you think? Number 1. That's right, to give. Why to give? Because we have to. Пам'ятаємо, якщо в нас є конструкції з to or enough, we need to use infinitive. Let's look to number 2. The high wall prevented us from, and that is very easy. Usually look at the words that precede these words. Дивимось на слова, які йдуть перед тим. From is a preposition. That's why we need to use gerund. From seeing the garden. Great job. Let's go to number 3. He spends much time. We have spent, we have waste. Пам'ятаємо, є слова spent, витрачати, марнувати. If we talk about money or time, якщо говоримо про час або гроші, we need to use what? Gerund, because we have spent. Окей. Воно, можливо, вам звучить незвично, да? I spent my days reading. Я там проводжу свої дні читаючи. Можливо, вам воно незвично звучить, but it's a rule. Okay, now let's go next. Hannah was unable to find or finding out what had happened. To find out, because we have what? An adjective, like the adjective unable. Remember, if we have an adjective or a noun, then usually it is followed by an infinitive. Okay, let's go to number 5. It's no use complaining or to complain. You just have to take the test later. It's no use. That is a set expression. Тобто немає ніякого користі, тобто можеш навіть не жалітися. Not complaining, no use complaining. That is a set expression that you need to remember. Okay, let's go next to number 6. What do you think of his marry or marrying that girl? Remember that gerund might be used as a noun. Да? Тобто в герунді він по своїм властивостям дуже схожий до іменника. Yes? Very, very similar to a noun. And we see his, that is a personal pronoun, and it is modified, so we need to use a gerund. By the way, you have of, think of, and then you have gerund. You think of his marrying that girl. Okay, I see answers like, pay attention to prepositions. If you have prepositions, then it will be a gerund. Okay, let's go next. Their decision, closing or to close the company, was a difficult one to make. So look at the word that precedes it. Що йде в нас перед ось цим closing or to close. And remember, if we have a noun, for example, decision, then we need to use an infinitive. Зазвичай іде після нього infinitive. Okay, let's go next. The weather isn't warm enough to go or going for a walk. What precedes to go or going? Okay, to go because we have what? Enough. Great. Let's go next. His refusal to discuss or discussing the matter is very annoying. Again, what precedes? So what word goes before this infinitive or gerund? That is refusal. That is a noun. Yes? Usually, if it is a noun or an adjective, it is followed by an infinitive. Якщо в нас є іменник або прикметник, за ним буде йти інфінітив. His refusal to discuss. Його відмова обговорювати. So, and that is infinitive. Okay, let's go to number 10. How about join or joining us for a game of bridge? We have how about, and by the way, we have a preposition about that is only gerund, not infinitive. Great, no mistakes here, by the way, very good. I'm pleased to inform or informing you. Look at the word that precedes it. Яке слово перед цим іде? What is that? That is an adjective, that's why we need to use an infinitive. I'm pleased to inform. Okay, number 12. Jane wasted no time to find or finding herself another boyfriend. Вона не витратила часу, щоб в неї не пішло взагалі ні хвилинки, щоб знайти нового хлопця. Jane wasted no time. If we talk about find, if we talk about time or money and we use waste or spend, then we need to use the gerund. Great job, guys. So let's go next. Actually, some verbs, like this one, as you may see on your screen, may be used with both infinitives and gerund. For example, begin, start, continue, purpose, bother, and intent. And actually, there is no difference in meaning. For example, we continue to discuss and we continue discussing the plans. They are equal. Тобто вони абсолютно мають однакове значення. You may use both infinitive and gerund. Тобто, якщо вам потрібно буде заповнити пропуск, да, після continue, то вам не дадуть ці два варіанти відповіді, бо вони два сюди підходять. And they have like no difference. І не мають ніякої різниці. They continue to discuss and they continue discussing the plans. The same with other verbs. For example, don't bother to lay or don't bother laying the table. They are equal and you may use both. But be careful with sentence number 3. Let's look at this pair of sentences. It's starting to get cold or it's starting getting cold. Бачимо, що слово start можемо використовувати і з інфінітивом, і з герундієм, і при цьому значення буде те саме. But which one is correct? What do you think? It's starting to get cold or it's starting getting cold? Or maybe we can use both. What do you think? It's starting to get cold or it's starting getting cold? To get cold. Okay, any other variants? Or maybe you think that both are possible. Ми ж говоримо, що ті дієслова можна і так вживати без всякого значення. Both. Okay. Actually, there is such a small rule. If the ing form goes with simple tenses and the infinitive with continuous tenses. Not like it's done only to avoid these double ing forms. Тобто, ось, щоб уникнути ось цієї подвійної ing форми, да, і starting, і getting, тому запам'ятайте, з simple tenses, простими часами, наприклад, past simple, present simple, you may use infinitives. Ви можете використовувати and infinitives and gerund. For example, it started to rain. And it started raining. Тобто в нас є звичайний past simple. Після нього можна використовувати будь-що. But if you have it's starting це що у нас? Continuous, да? От після нього не можна використовувати герундій. In order not to repeat this double ing form. Okay. And actually it doesn't sound very nicely. So just try to remember that it's not okay if two verbs with ing endings, they go together. Okay, so let's train more. Let's look at this text and let's try to fill in the gaps with either infinitive or gerund. So we have the beginning. Are you fed up with being a failure in your job? У нас тут є with preposition, тому нам тут дали герундій. Yes? Wouldn't you rather succeed? We know that if we have would rather, had better, we need better infinitive. Да? Так само нам тут і дали. Do you want to earn more money? We know that with the verb want, we need to use infinitive. Want to do something. So let's go next. Are you anxious? Getting ahead or to get ahead? What do you think? Are you anxious? So what is anxious? What part of speech is that? Okay, that's right. To get, because anxious is an adjective. Да? Тому що це прикметник. Okay, if we have an adjective, then it is followed by an infinitive. Let's go next. Do you believe in? Do you believe in to make or making? In making, because we have preposition in. Great. Do you sometimes dream about and reaching the top? The same situation, we have preposition about. Той самий випадок, у нас є прийменник about. Okay, just imagine yourself to run or running a big successful company. Just imagine yourself. There is no rule. Сюди правило нам ніяке не підходить, да? Але у нас є слово imagine, дієслово imagine. So what do we need to use after the verb imagine? Тобто це вже потрібно запам'ятати. If you have imagine, then you need to use gerund. After imagine, we use gerund. Imagine yourself running. Let's go to number 5. And now you can do something about it instead of. Okay, we have of, and that is preposition. That's why we need to use gerund of dreaming. It'll happen if you want it. Okay, we know that with want, we use. What do we use with want? We use infinitives. If you want it to happen. Щоб це трапилося. Great, let's go next to number 7. Make it a reality by. Okay, by, what is by? Is by a preposition? By в нас прийменник. By. That's right, by is a preposition. That's why by ordering. Okay, it has a 10-point plan for you to follow. That's right. I see the correct answers. Very good. Okay, let's go to number 9. Again, very tricky. Not very tricky, but anyway. Do it and you are certain. І ти точно. Роби це, і ти точно. Do it and you are certain. Again, certain. What is certain? What part of speech is that? Certain is an adjective. That's why we need to say to be. Do it and you are certain to be a success. Very good. Okay, you'll know what. Okay, what is what? Згадуємо, що таке what. That is a question word. And if we have a question word, then we need to use після питальних слів what, which, where, who, and how. What do we need to use? We need to use infinitives. That's right. What to do in business. You can make other people. Okay, you can make other people respect, because make somebody do something, bare infinitive. You and persuade them. What do we use with persuade? You just need to remember it. Persuade we use with the infinitive. Persuade them to do what you want. Experts recommend. That's also something that you need to remember. We use gerund with recommend. Suggest and recommend. Да, вони дуже схожі з значенням, і запам'ятайте, що вони використовуються з ґрундем. Recommend doing something and suggest doing something. This marvelous book. You'd better and with you'd better. What do we use with you'd better? We use bare infinitive. Would rather and had better. We use bare infinitives. You'd bare infinitive. I see a mistake. Yes, you'd better order your copy today. Great, guys. Let's look at these sentences. What do you think? Are they correct, and what's the difference between them? I heard Jack talking on the phone and I heard Jack talk on the phone. What's the difference? And by the way, are they correct or not? What do you think about these sentences? And what about B? Okay, A seems correct to you. And what about B? I heard Jack talking on the phone and I heard Jack talk on the phone. What do you think? Which one is correct? Or maybe they both are correct? What do you think? Okay, I see everyone. I see the correct answer. They both, these two sentences are correct, but they have a difference in their meaning. So if we say, I heard Jack talking on the phone, it means that I heard Jack, while he was talking on the phone, I heard a part of his conversation. Тобто в першому випадку ви почули якусь частину його розмови. Просто ви чули, як він розмовляє по телефону. But if you say, I heard Jack talk on the phone, it means that you heard the whole conversation from beginning to end. Якщо ви скажете другий варіант, I heard Jack talk on the phone, it means that you heard the whole conversation. Тобто це буде значити, що ви почули повністю його розмову від початку до кінця. So in the first example, what do we have in the first example? What do we have? What is talking in this example? That is gerund, and in variant B, what is talk? Talk is, we know it. What is talk? Okay, first one is gerund, and what about B? I heard Jack talk on the phone. What is talk? And talk, that is infinitive, bare infinitive. That's right. So, with verbs see, hear, feel, watch, listen to, or notice, we may use both gerund and infinitive. But if we use it with gerund, it means it describes an incomplete action. Yes, that is to say that somebody saw, heard, or whatever, only a part of the action. And if we use these verbs with infinitive, it means that it describes like a complete action. That is something, someone saw her or whatever, something, some action from beginning to end. Да? Тобто, якщо це герундій використовуєте, то це ви просто бачили цю дію, як щось відбувалося. Якщо ви використовуєте якби інфінітив, bare infinitive, це означає, що ви бачили цю дію від самого початку і до самого кінця. Yes, so we can use both, but they have different meanings. So let's do this exercise and you will see the difference better. So let's go to number 1. Did you see the robber? Yes, I saw him into the car and drive away. So what do you think? What should we put here? A bare infinitive or a gerund? Did you see the robber? Yes, I saw him into the car and drive away. Оця дія сісти в машину, вона довга чи коротка? Is it short or long? It is rather short. Тобто вона дуже швидка. Тобто він побачив, як він сідав в машину. Get. So, I saw him get into the car and drive away. Він з самого початку, тобто він бачив повністю дію, як сісти в машину. It was not a long action. Це ж не була якась довга дія. It was a short action. He opened the door, he got into the car and he drove away. So, get into the car. Number 2. Is John here today? Yes, I heard him talk on the phone as I walked past his office. So, what about this sentence? Should we use gerund or bare infinitive? That's right, talking on the phone. Yes? He was just walking past the office. Да? Тобто у нас ще чітко, коли я проходив повз офіс, я чув, як він розмовляє. There is no evidence that it was a complete action. Okay, let's go next. Colin is good at speaking in public, isn't he? Yes, I heard him make the speech or making a speech last month. It was excellent. So the speech was excellent. So we can assume that the whole speech was excellent. Да? Тобто вся промова вона була прекрасною. Okay, let's go next to number 4. Your hair looks great today. Thanks, I watched the hairdresser eat so I could learn how to do it myself. So when you go to the hairdressers, do you see the complete action or do you see just the part of the action? Let's try to think. Тобто вам роблять зачіску. Ви робите, ви бачите якби весь процес чи тільки частинку? Surely you see the whole process. Ви ж там сидите, вам роблять зачіску. That's why you see the whole process. Тому якби ви є свідками всього процесу. Тобто ви бачили, як вам висушили голову. Не сушили голову, а висушили. Yes? Okay. Let's go next to number 5. That's a music school, isn't it? That's right. I often hear the students as I walk past. Again, walk past. Йти повз. So what do you think? Should we use gerund or infinitive? Gerund. Singing. Yes, because we have I walked past. Я йшов повз. Да? Тобто я йшов повз і чув, що там хтось співає. Я не слухав від початку до кінця їхню пісню. Я просто чув, що там хтось співає. Okay, let's go to number 6. Did you stay until the end of the contest? Yes, I listened to the chairman announce or announcing the results before I went home. З результатами. Announce. That's right. So he knows the results. Він знає результати, тому логічно, що він почув весь процес їхнього оголошення. That's why that is announce. Okay, guys, I hope that was clear. Let's go next. Let's look at these two sentences and let's try to figure out the difference between them. I have stopped buying coffee and I stopped to buy coffee. What do you think? Is there a difference between them? Is there a difference between them? I have stopped buying coffee and I stopped to buy coffee. Both are correct. That's right. Не сперечаюсь. Два речення, вони вірні. But is there a difference between them? that's right. Both are correct. But what about the difference? I have stopped buying coffee and I stopped to buy coffee. That's right. I see the correct answer, I see the correct translation. Тобто, перше, я взагалі припинив купувати каву, я від неї відмовився. Yes. And number two, I stopped to buy. Я зупинився, наприклад, на вулиці, щоб купити каву. Окей, бачите, що частенько ось це to, яке використовується з інфінітивом, в українській ми це перекладаємо як щоб щось зробити. Okay, so if you use stop with ing, it means the action is not happening anymore. So you don't buy coffee anymore. You have stopped buying coffee. But if you use stop with infinitive, it means that somebody or something stops an activity so that they can do something else. So it means to switch to another activity. Тобто зупинитись, щоб зробити щось інше. So in the first example, ви припинили повністю купувати каву, тобто ви кинули цю звичку, ви більше не купуєте каву. Да? I have stopped buying coffee. Якщо ви хочете це сказати, вам потрібен герундій. Якщо ви хочете сказати, що я йшов і зупинився, щоб купити каву, that means infinitive. Тоді вам потрібен інфінітив. Да? От взагалі інфінітив, він найчастіше виражає собою щоб. Якусь purpose, да? Ми з вами казали мету, щоб щось зробити. So try to remember it this way. Спробуйте запам'ятати ось в такому, можливо, інтерпретації. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's fill in the gap. I remember the zoo when I was 10. I remember So, I remember the zoo when I was 10. So what verb can we put here and in which form? Ing or infinitive? So we have a picture of a boy and he remembers the zoo when he was 10. Він пам'ятає, як він ходив в зоопарк. He remembers visiting the zoo when he was 10. Or I remember visiting the zoo when I was 10. So the same thing. If you use remember or forget with gerund or with infinitives, they change meanings. Тобто, якщо ви вживаєте зі словами remember, forget, герундій або інфінітив, вони міняють значення повністю. If you use gerund with remember and forget, it means to remember or forget an action in the past. So that is about your memory, like an example. Yes, I remember visiting the zoo when I was 10. I remember how I visited the zoo when I was 10. The same with forget. But if you use infinitive, it means that you need to do something. It's like a reminder. Тобто це як нагадування. Remember or forget to do something you need to do. Remember to buy milk on your way home. Да? Пам'ятай, що тобі потрібно купити молоко. Don't forget to phone Alice. Не забудь подзвонити Еліс. So, you see, they're completely completely different meanings. Okay, let's go to the next one. I regret you that your credit card is blocked. So what can we put here? Regret. Regret – це я дуже жалію, да? Мені б не хотілося, but I regret. So I regret. What do you think? That's right. I regret to inform or to tell you that your credit card is blocked. Як ми переклали це речення? Мені дуже шкода тобі повідомляти, казати. So regret may be also used with gerund and with infinitives, but again, it has different meanings. If it is used with the gerund, it means that you feel sorry for doing something in the past. Тобто ви жалкуєте, що ви щось зробили в минулому. I regret telling her that. Мені так шкода, що я їй це розказала. I regret telling her that. That's something done in the past. Yes, something like was done in the past. But if you use it with the infinitive, like I regret to tell, it means to be sorry to announce bad news. Yes? Okay, and two more. Давайте ще таких два. The most common. Try some painkillers. So the man has a headache. So, and we give some recommendations to him. Ми даємо поради. Да? Try. We know that try – це спробувати. So what do we need to use? Infinitive or gerund? Try taking some painkillers. If you use try with gerund, it means like a method of achieving the aim. So to try something like to do something in order to solve a problem. Тобто спробувати якийсь метод, якусь нову підхід до чогось. Yes? Then it's gerund. But if you use it with the infinitive, it means to make an effort to do something difficult, like she tried to lose weight for the summer. А якщо це з інфінітивом, то ви щось дуже намагаєтесь зробити. Да? Тобто try with gerund – це спробуй, да, спробуй щось зробити, ну спробувати якийсь метод, підхід. But if you use it with the infinitive, it means to do some effort. То це вже намагатися, прям старатися щось зробити. Okay, and the last one. Давайте це буде останнє на сьогодні, yes? She was so fascinated by the book that she went on it for hours. Ну, логічно, що у нас тут буде read, читати, да? So, reading or to read. She was so fascinated by the book that she went on reading or to read it for hours. What do you think? Reading, that's right. Again, we have go on. Да? And they have different meanings. If you use it with gerund, it means to continue the action. Like she went on reading it for hours. Тобто вона продовжила її читати цю книгу. But if you use it with infinitive, like go on plus infinitive, it means that you need to change the action. For example, when she finished school, she went on to study medicine. Тут навпаки, тут повністю протилежне значення. Тобто тут взагалі дія змінюється. Вона закінчила школу і далі вона пішла вчити медицину. So, if you use it with gerund, the action continues, but if you use it with infinitive, the action changes. I suggest we practice, and you will see the difference. Okay, let's look at this dialogue, and let's try to choose either infinitive, bare infinitive, or gerund. So, let's look at number 1. Can you please stop to play or stop playing Justin Bieber? So what do you think? What meaning suits best? Stop to play or stop playing? Put your answers to the chat, please. Stop playing. That's right. That means to stop completely. Тобто припини назавжди. Okay, let's go to number 2. I'm trying studying or trying to study. I'm trying studying or I'm trying to study. To study, да. Пам'ятаємо, якщо в нас є try doing something, it means like to try some method or some approach. But if you have tried to do something, it means to make an effort, тобто намагатися щось зробити. And by the way, у нас було trying, studying. Пам'ятаєте, якщо дві ing стоять поруч, то це, скоріш за все, помилка. Yes? Trying to study. Okay, let's go to number 3. Can you please stop being or to be such a geek? Can you please stop being or can you please to be? Stop to be. Stop being or stop to be? Stop being, that's right. Stop being is just to stop something completely. Okay, number 4. Try going out or try to go out and meeting people. Remember, if we use try with gerund, it's more some recommendations. Спробуй, да? So what do you think? What is here? Try going out or try to go out? Different variants. Okay, let's wait for more answers. Going out. That's right, because try to go out means to make an effort. Тобто це треба якісь зусилля докласти, щоб вийти погуляти. А тут ніби спробуй піти погуляти, yes? So it's something different. Okay, let's go to number 5. Stop giving or stop to give me your stupid advice. The same thing, stop giving. So, stop completely, припини назавжди. Me your stupid advice. Yesterday on my way to university, I stopped having or stopped to have a coffee with a girl. on my way home, yes, on my way to university, sorry, I stopped having or I stopped to have. What do you think about number 6? And that is stopped to have. So he stopped in order, для того, щоб, in order to have a coffee with a girl. Stop having means to stop completely. Тобто це зовсім інше речення. Це кинути пити каву, а тут зупинитися, щоб випити каву з дівчиною. Okay, let's go to next one, number 7. Do you remember telling or do you remember to tell everyone you had a girlfriend? Do you remember telling or do you remember to tell everyone you had a girlfriend when you were 10? So do we talk about some like reminders, нагадування, or do we talk about some past memories? About past memories. That's why we need to use gerund. Remember telling. Great. And the last one. Her name was Lisa. Look who is talking. Remember to kiss or remember kissing Justin Bieber's picture before going to bed. So, do we talk about any memories? Or it just a recommendation, a reminder? That's right. Remember to kiss. Like a reminder. Yes, it's like a joke, but anyway, remember to kiss. Okay, guys, I see our time is up. So I thank you so much for your time. I thank you so much for your great job today. Thank you for your answers. Next time we will meet next Thursday and we will have some more interesting job to do. Okay, thank you and goodbye. See you in a week.